Hi, I'm Shanti, the artist behind Shanti Fine Arts. A lot of you must already know that I'm a big fan of fantasy. And obviously, being a fantasy fan growing up was with a big dose of Disney movies. And Disney characters, of course, are my big favorites. So I thought of doing a series of paintings where I reimagine Disney characters as real people or real animals and try to portray my vision of them in reality, kind of mixing fantasy with reality and surrealism and all of them together. Now I'll let you judge how it works.
Like most of my paintings, I started this one also on a toned canvas. I toned the canvas with acrylic paints and a very light layer of burnt sienna. And then I did a quick underpainting with acrylics as well and using just raw umber. It was just very quick. I didn't even pay attention to a lot of values. I just wanted something to start off with. It's like a quick sketch just with paints. And then I moved over to oil paints, and you can see that I started with the face first, and more specifically the eyes first, because eyes I think are a soul of a portrait or a figurative painting, provided obviously it's the front facing side of the figure, and so I wanted to start with that. And in this case, since my underpainting is very sketchy, very primitive, it's not that it's giving me a lot of advantage, it's just giving me the benefit of a sketch. So what I'm doing is I'm first outlining, more or less outlining most of the areas with my gradient being towards the darkest colors. So outlines are towards the darkest colors that I see on the face, and that is what I'm putting. And then I'm just laying the colors side by side as I am looking at my reference photos, and I'm using 2 to 3 different reference photos for the face and the body. So it is a little bit tricky. It was a little bit tricky this time, but I think I made it work, but I'll let you be the judge of it. So anyways, after I lay down the darkest marks or outline, I came back with the lighter areas or midtones, and there are several colors in the midtones starting from dark to the lightest, and I kind of tried to lay them side by side and keep blending them as I laid them side by side. Once the face was a little bit done, I went to the background, because in my style of painting, what I like to do is I like to put in the background a little bit first and then come towards the foreground. What it does is that your background is always already laid, so it does not interfere in your painting, and it gives you a good idea about how dark or light to go with your painting. And that's my typical style. A lot of people paint the entire figure first and they go to the background. They don't even put a background as well, and which completely works. It's just every artist, every painter, everybody has a different preference, different liking, and you can work according to your liking or your preference. I'm just sharing my way of working. So Pocahontas, I wanted to talk a little bit about the choice of this figure first for my series with Disney characters, reimagining Disney characters. So Pocahontas being a Native American character, and this being around Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving has such a deep connection with Native Americans, I just thought that this would be very appropriate for this occasion, this holiday season. So that's what my first reimagined Disney character is about, and it's going to be followed by a Disney character every month, hopefully, from now on. So stay tuned. If you like this one, there will be a lot more. Each and every Disney character of my liking would come up. Like I like most of the Disney characters, so every one of will be touched at one point of time or the other. Now back to talking about the painting. You could see that after the background, I came to the foreground first, and then I added a little bird to the background. Somehow I just felt that a little bird with this painting would just be perfect. And I referenced this picture from a hummingbird bird reference photo. Now, if you consider actual hummingbirds, they're very, very tiny. And this hummingbird is almost the size of the face. And that is not what happens in real life. In real life, the hummingbirds are much, much smaller. They're probably not even half the size of the face. But considering the size of the painting and considering that it's not completely realistic and has a little surrealistic touch to it, so I thought making the bird a little bit bigger probably would not be too bad. And anyways, I'm being really true to the colors and everything else. It's just the size that I'm varying. Now onto the background once again, I thought I've added a little hint of leaves to the background, and it being close to fall season, I still wanted to add some fall colors. So here you see orange and red and yellow leaves. And to the background, I added a lot of yellows and whites at the very background to kind of hint at the source of light. I paid a lot of attention while painting the necklace of Pocahontas because I love this particular shade of blue. In fact, I love all shades of blue, and this was probably my favorite part of the painting to paint, other than the eyes, of course. It's just painting the eyes is the best part of any painting for me. I added a little bit of blue to the edge of the feathers in her hair as well, because when I watched the movie, I saw that the feathers that Pocahontas wore had a little bit of blue on the edge, so I thought that would be very true to the character. And I could have painted Pocahontas just as an anime character, but I don't do a lot of animations. That doesn't mean that I cannot do it, or I will not do it, or I do not like to do it, or anything of that sort. It's just that I wanted to do something very original, so I thought let's try to think how she would look as a real person, and that's where I stand with that painting. So I'll let you comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think about the painting. Do you think this looks like Pocahontas? Does it match to your imagination, or match to the character that you think Pocahontas is? That would mean a lot to me, whatever your comments you share. If you like it, you share that you like it. If you do not like it, you share that as well. Because I want your honest reviews, not what you want to, you don't need to please me or anything. You can share your honest reviews. That's fine with me. Now on to the dress. I paid a little less attention to the details of the clothing than I did on the face and the necklace, because as you faded away from the face, I wanted the painting to fade a little bit as well. The only reason being, if you put details equally in all areas, sometimes it just takes the attention away. Not necessarily it would have been the case here, but I just thought that would be the best approach for this particular painting. Back onto the hair, once again I darkened the hair first, and this painting I did it in 3 layers. So I would say 3 different days, but I actually did it in 2 days, and I used liquid as my medium of choice. So it dries in about 8 or 9 hours. So one day I did one sitting early in the morning for a few hours, and then once the paint was dry by the evening, I did another layer. So kind of one day I did 2 layers, and the second day I did 1 layer. So there are 3 layers in this painting in total, and that's how it came along. So I used a lot of glazing on this particular painting, and you can see that as well, that it's with the glazing it slowly comes up and turns out nicely. Now I'm working on the bird and some of the final details. Now the wings, I kept it a little bit hazy than the other areas of the bird, just because I wanted the flutter effect, and that's why I did it. You would see that when I'm working on the painting layer after layer, until about the very end, it actually looks very ugly. It doesn't look very cohesive. The face doesn't look completed. In fact, it looks like there is a mismatched color in all areas. It is because it is done in various stages. And in each of the stages, I kept on perfecting little by little, trying to bring everything together, make all the colors in the different areas of the body match or not match so much depending on the area of the body. Like the face would obviously have much more color or much more redness around the veins than the hands would have. So that's why it does not come out really nicely till about the very end of the painting. So you have to keep your patience and watch till the end. That's the trick to this painting. Now on to my third day of the painting, or the third sitting of the painting. You can see that I am lightening up quite a bit of the background areas by adding transparent mixing white. Transparent mixing white is very different from titanium white, which actually covers all areas. So if you put titanium white over completely black areas, it will show up like white and not it will not be like a transparent. However, for transparent mixing white, or this is oil paint, so I use zinc white instead. So for zinc white, what happens is that it lightens the background, but it does not completely cover it up and gives like a halo kind of effect, a fuzzy kind of effect that I was looking for. And this is kind of where I am almost at the end of the painting, where I'm cleaning up all these fine details everywhere on the body, trying to make all the different parts of the body kind of tie up together and look like the same body, similar colors and all that. And this is the area where I work a lot from time to time for the hair, adding in single strands, adding in lots of different colors, lots of different shades of gray and even white to depict the strands of hair. The flying hair thing just really attracts me a lot, and I try to paint it to the best of my abilities. You can see that for the highlights in the hair, I've used different shades of gray, and for the very highlighted areas, I have used white as well, but very sparingly, because I do not want her to look like she has white hair or anything. So that's where I'm cleaning up the body and the last part of the painting almost. And once that is done, it will almost be the end of the painting. So do not forget to hit the like button if you like it, and do not forget to share your thoughts, what you thought about this painting, and whether you would enjoy some more of Disney characters coming up, because it is coming up. And if you like it, do share with your friends and family, because sharing is caring, and that's what Thanksgiving is all about. I hope you had a very wonderful Thanksgiving, and that is all for today. And do not forget to hit the subscribe button though if you want to stay connected. And that's all for today, and thank you for watching.